January 2024, Connecticut. James and Marie Reynolds receive a devastating call from their real estate agent. The title company never received your wire transfer. The couple stares at each other in disbelief. Just hours earlier, they had wired their entire life savings, $412,000, following instructions they believed came from their title company. The money is gone, vanished into a complex network of offshore accounts. The closing on their dream retirement home will not happen. The Reynolds had fallen victim to what the FBI calls the fastest growing type of cybercrime in America, real estate wire fraud. In the largest coordinated theft in real estate history, sophisticated criminal syndicates have stolen $1.7 billion from American homebuyers by targeting the most vulnerable moment in property transactions: the wire transfer of down payments and closing costs. How did these cybercriminals penetrate one of the most regulated industries in America? Why are financial institutions powerless to recover the stolen funds? And where has the money gone? In our connected world, the greatest thefts don't require breaking into vaults, just breaking trust. If protecting your financial future matters to you, hit subscribe now. Our alerts could be your digital shield when you need it most. 2019, Bucharest, Romania. A group of former financial technology experts begin studying the U.S. real estate market. Unlike traditional bank hackers, they aren't interested in breaking into secure systems. Instead, they focus on something far more vulnerable: the communication between people. American real estate transactions present the perfect target. The average down payment exceeds $100,000. Multiple parties communicate primarily through email, and the pressure of closing deadlines forces quick decisions. The group, later identified as BlackWire by FBI investigators, began collecting email addresses of real estate professionals through data breaches. They studied thousands of intercepted messages to learn industry terminology and standard procedures. By 2020, they had refined a methodical approach that would target thousands of real estate transactions simultaneously across America. The BlackWire operation worked with ruthless precision. First, they compromised email accounts of real estate professionals through targeted phishing attacks. Once inside an agent's or title officer's email, they would observe communications for weeks, learning about upcoming transactions. When they identified a promising target, they created look-alike email domains. For example, smithtitle.com might become smithtie1la.com, using the number 1 instead of the letter L. As closing day approached, they would register these domains and send fraudulent wire instructions to the buyer, often including legitimate-looking letterhead and correct transaction details. In Denver, the Butcher family received such an email just 24 hours before closing on their $560,000 home. Without hesitation, they wired their $272,000 down payment to the account provided. The money vanished instantly. The stolen funds follow a carefully choreographed path designed to be untraceable. When victims wire their money, it first lands in a Money Mule account, typically a U.S. bank account opened with stolen identity information. Within hours, the funds are fragmented into smaller amounts and wired to dozens of different accounts across multiple banks. Next, the funds are converted to cryptocurrency, primarily Bitcoin, but increasingly privacy coins like Monero that offer enhanced anonymity. The final phase involves cash-out operations in countries with limited cooperation with U.S. law enforcement. By the time the money reaches its final destination, typically Eastern Europe, West Africa, or Southeast Asia, it has changed form and jurisdiction so many times that recovery becomes virtually impossible. The human toll of real estate wire fraud extends far beyond the financial numbers. James and Marie Reynolds, the Connecticut couple who lost $412,000, had to cancel their retirement plans. "We spent 40 years saving that money," Marie told local news. "Now we're back to working in our 70s. In Denver, the Butcher family lost their entire down payment of $272,000 and now live in their son's basement, instead of the home they tried to purchase near their grandchildren. What makes these cases particularly devastating is the lack of recourse. Unlike credit card fraud, wire transfers offer minimal consumer protections. Most banks consider authorized wire transfers to be the customer's responsibility, even if they were deceived. In 2022, after hundreds of complaints, the FBI established Operation WireLurk, a specialized task force dedicated to combating real estate wire fraud. The breakthrough came in August 2023, when authorities traced $1.2 million stolen from a California property transaction to accounts in Romania. Working with Romanian police, they raided several locations in Bucharest, seizing computers and approximately $4.3 million in cryptocurrency. 8 members of the BlackWire group were arrested, including the alleged ringleader, Adrian Popescu, a former banking software developer. However, FBI investigators believe at least 12 similar operations remain active. As of May 2025, authorities have recovered only $46 million of the $1.7 billion stolen through real estate wire fraud, less than 3% of the total losses. The 8 BlackWire members arrested in Romania await trial, but intelligence suggests the operation has already reconstituted itself with new personnel. Several states have passed legislation requiring explicit wire fraud warnings in all real estate contracts. These laws mandate that buyers receive written instructions to verbally verify all payment details before transferring funds. Despite these efforts, the FBI reports that real estate wire fraud attempts increased by 29% in the first quarter of 2025 compared to the previous year. The $1.7 billion stolen through real estate wire fraud represents thousands of shattered dreams, families who lost homes, retirees forced back to work, and life savings vanishing in minutes. What makes this crime particularly insidious is its exploitation of trust in a process most people experience only a few times in their lives. When buying a home, often the largest financial transaction most Americans ever make, people naturally rely on guidance from professionals. For home buyers, the lesson is stark. In the most important financial transaction of your life, digital convenience must be balanced with caution, verification, and awareness. Vigilance is the price of security. This is Dark Data Files, decoding the digital underworld together.